On behalf of myself and the team at Newsworks, it's fantastic to see so many of you here today for our first ever conference in Manchester.
So when we looked at the full range of need states, it was news brands that were consistently best in addressing them. And we found that this leads to a much closer relationship between news brands and their users. And it's based on two powerful drivers: trust, but also personal identification.
News brands have trusted relationships, whether that's newspapers being led by their readers or not. There's definitely a synergy between title and reader.
I thought that Jason Seakin's vision of the new journalist was quite interesting. I mean, the idea that the readers will now wear glasses to get the full experience of the reporter in the field.
Someday soon, there'll be reporters out in the field who will, and your audience, our audience, will be experiencing the actual 360-degree landscape.
All of that mood music is still set by newspapers, and I would argue that one of the greatest influences that newspapers had is in determining the broadcast agenda.
I thought that was fascinating to see how an individual's opinion in one newspaper can shift the whole national debate.
I really enjoyed David Walsh's session on how he brought down Lance Armstrong. I think for me it really demonstrates the power of investigative journalism within the context of national newspapers.
I was never going to sit there and think, there's a question I'd love to ask, but I know it might sound stupid. I was always going to think, just ask it and see what the answer is.
I think the quality of speakers here today has been absolutely superb across the board from start to finish.
You know, there's a great talk about the decline of newspapers, and yet there we were, all reflecting on their continuing influence on politicians, their continuing influence on broadcasters, their continuing influence on readers in various different ways. And so this form of media, which has been so powerful for so long, continues to have a huge impact.